Now this is a game that I can get behind. In a genre saturated with shooters with stiff movement and simple action, NARAKA BLADEPOINT finally brings us something different to the Battle Royale scene. Hey everyone, it's OSK, and with me today I have a good friend of mine from the Spellbreak community, a fellow gamer like myself, Tacos. Tacos is a very good friend of mine again. Always wanted to do a collab. He just reached 1K subscribers on YouTube, and good thing for this video, played in the previous NARAKA BLADEPOINT beta. So he's got some experience with the game that he'll go over so you can have a first-hand account of how the game feels, what all you can do, and why you should play this game over other Battle Royales. So we're going to take a deep dive into that, but first, we got to find out what this game is all about. I just watched the E3 reveal. It's looking very, very nice, very fast-paced action, and I can't wait to show you what all this game has to offer. So, without further ado, let's get right into this. NARAKA BLADEPOINT is an upcoming fast-paced action combat style 60-player buy-to-play battle royale from 24 Entertainment, coming to Steam and other platforms this summer of 2021 on August 12th. The game is played in a third-person perspective and features lots of cool mechanics like dashing, grappling, and interactive melee combat, and like all battle royales, the goal is to be the last person standing or the last squad standing. NARAKA BLADEPOINT is reminiscent of past titles such as Black Desert Online, For Honor, and even old pre-alpha Spellbreak with its movement and combat style. The game features a multitude of different weapons like swords, bows, and so much more to add a wide variety, and they just added a new one called the Spear, which is looking to be quite the menace. There are also different characters in the game who each provide different abilities to mix up the gameplay even more that I'll let Tacos go over later. It also just got revealed that a new hero named Yodohime is going to be releasing for the new beta phase starting on June 16th running until June 22nd, and the mechanics look a lot like Diana from League of Legends where you can dash to an opponent that you hit with a special ability, so it's looking very, very interesting to say the least. Overall, NARAKA provides a wide variety of ways to play and outplay your opponents, which is sure to make it an absolute blast to play and farm out some flashy clips for you and your friends. I know one of the main draws for me is going to be the fact that once you start an engagement, you have to continue with it and just overall commit to whatever you're willing to start. Unlike different shooters in the Battle Royale genre, this is sure to have something different to add some spice to the scene itself. But like I said earlier, the game features a buy-to-play business model, but also with purchasable cosmetic crates in-game. It has just been revealed in E3 that NARAKA will offer 3 different packs with prices equivalent to $20, $35, and $50 respectively. The $20 standard edition features the base game, the new hero Yodohime, and 1 set of cloth. The $35 deluxe edition features the base game, the new hero, a limited edition of cloth, a limited edition skin, and 10 extra cosmetic crates. And finally, the $50 Ultimate Edition, which I have purchased myself, provides all the benefits of the previous crates, along with another limited set of cloth, a grip, the game's OST, and an art book. The $50 Ultimate Edition is still priced below most games that are complete at $60, so if you get all of that extra stuff, I'm thinking that that's going to be a very great value. I can definitely see myself getting my money's worth out of that $50 edition. Of course, you have 3 options for you, so if you don't want to spend $50 on this game, that's up to you. So you can tailor your experience with what you're willing to give to the game. One other quick detail that I forgot to mention before we head over to Tacos is that this game features character customization, meaning you can edit your character's face and features to better suit whatever you want them to look like. Of course, you do get to choose between different characters in the game that have different abilities, but you can tweak their facial features, so you can really just make a character of your own. It's really nice. In fact, I would say this character customization kind of mirrors titles like Black Desert Online, which are very known for their character customization and even have a whole community based around it, which is very nice to see in something that isn't an MMO and coming to the Battle Royale scene. But without further ado, let's get into Tacos for the different characters and also some gameplay.
Hello everyone, my name is Tacos, and today I want to talk to you about the gameplay of NARAKA BLADEPOINT. So to start, there are 6 different characters, and I know I'm going to butcher some of these names, so please bear with me. So first there's Viper Ning. Her special ability poisons enemies and adds a small damage over time to the enemy. Her ult creates an eye above her head, which after a few seconds, it stuns any enemies that are still within range of the eye. Note that you walk really, really slow when you actually use this, and you're vulnerable before your stun actually activates, so be careful when you use that. Next, we have T-Mulk. His special ability throws out wind orbs that drains your enemy's stamina, and stamina is what we use to dodge, sprint, and things like that. His ult creates a barrier of wind that slows down enemies and also blocks projectiles. He can freely walk through this wind, but everyone else gets slowed down. Next, we have Matari. She was my favorite character out of all of them. Her special ability lets you teleport a short distance, and if you hold the key, the teleport can get charged and you'll go a greater distance. Her ult also allows you to go invisible and shortens the cooldown of her special ability. But don't worry, the invis is actually pretty easy to see if you're paying attention and looking for it. Kind of similar to Halo invis. Next we have Tarka G. His special ability shoots a fireball that damages and ignites enemies, which disables the use of their sprint and grapple hooks. His ult gives him a big speed boost and a power knockback for enemies that he charges through. You can't use normal weapons while you're in the ult though. Next we have Kurumi Tsuki Mikado. So their special ability heals a teammate that you choose to link up with, kind of like a Mercy style heal from Overwatch. You gain more defense, but you can't attack while healing someone, and if you left click while you're linked to someone, you can teleport to them, and then you right click to heal them. Her ult creates a little healing circle that removes debuffs when you enter it as well. And lastly, we have Tenkai. His special ability is a defensive ability that creates a shield around him that if you attack this, it will cause you to stagger. His ult transforms him into a giant four-armed creature that can grab and slam and throw enemies, and it sounds just as scary as it is. Now that we've gotten the characters out of the way, let's talk about the combat. So the combat feels really weird and awkward at first because you're not really sure how your character moves. When you move your camera with your mouse, your character doesn't move. The direction that your character is facing depends on the last WASD input that you pressed. So that part feels really weird at first, but once you get used to it, the combat is actually really, really satisfying. It's almost like a fighting game, like Mortal Kombat, but you have full 3D control over your movement instead of just left to right. Also, everyone has a grapple that works in sort of a Batman style, where it brings you directly where the grapple lands. You have to find these grapples throughout the map, but everyone can use them. There's also these soul jades that you would pick up, and there'd be a bunch of passive skills that are tied to them. There's the basic ones that are like plus damage or minus damage taken. And then you can also stack those. You can have a full set of just damage ones or damage reducing ones, but there are also these special soul jades that are specific for a character or a weapon that makes them even more scary to fight if you're not prepared for it. Alright, so now let's go on to the weapons. There are 3 swords that each kind of have their own role. The katana is meant for close range combat and has very swift attacks, while the great sword is a longer range sword that is very slow and heavy, but very hard hitting. The long sword is like the happy middle ground, which was my personal favorite during the beta. There are combos. I personally didn't really take the time to learn too many of them, but one of my favorites is when you grapple on a wall and do a charge attack to lunge off of a wall into an opponent. That one always feels really cool. So these 3 swords are the majority of what NARAKA's combat are, but there are a few ranged options. There's your standard everyday bow and arrow, a musket, which is a gun, but it has a very slow moving projectile, a cannon, which isn't as scary as it sounds, and the repeating crossbow, which is somewhat like a submachine gun of sorts, also not as scary as it sounds. Now that we have the basic combat out of the way, we can talk about the outplay mechanics. There are a couple like mind games that you can do, such as like baiting your opponent's parry. A parry is when they choose to block your charge attack. If they manage to pull off the parry, then you will become disarmed, your weapon will be on the ground, you'll have nothing in your hands. However, if the parry is a fail, so they activated the parry but you didn't do a charge attack, they are now vulnerable to your attacks. So each sword has its own sequence of basic attacks before it forces you into a charge attack. Knowing this sequence is very valuable for predicting your opponent so you're prepared to block. or you can cancel these sequences to reset them to allow you to do more consecutive basic attacks without your opponent predicting when you're going to do your charge attack. Charge attacks are risky, they do a lot of damage, but they also leave you vulnerable for taking damage as you're charging them. And you also have the chance of getting disarmed. So there's a lot of kind of chess-like mind games that can go on there. And now let's talk about the res mechanic. So the res mechanic basically works like you're any standard revive in BR. However, you can't move while you've been downed. But if your teammate can't get to you, then that's okay, it's not over. You can enter this like spirit form and go to an altar to bring yourself back. And you'll actually have randomly generated common loot as well. So as far as I can remember, everyone on your team can only do this once per game, and I think that's actually really good for balance, because then you just have constantly large player end games and it would just be really, really hectic. And lastly, what I've got for you guys is the skins. How were skins obtained in NARAKA? They were obtained through a crate system, where you would buy currency to open a chest with a single item in it. I think kind of like H1Z1 style crates. Yeah, just one item, but I can say that the skins were really, really, really good, and their art team is super, super talented. Just from what we saw in the beta, I was really impressed by what they had on there. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I've got for you guys. Thanks so much for having me, and see you guys later.
Thank you so much, Tacos. NARAKA BLADEPOINT is again set to come out very soon, August 12th of this year, and there will be a new beta from June 16th to the 22nd that has been announced at the E3 showcase. I have also provided links to the NARAKA website and Discord down in the description below, so if any news comes out, you will be the first to know. Also be sure to follow them on Twitter. I will also put that in the description as well. Big thanks to Tacos again for joining us here today and giving us some insight on the ins and outs of gameplay. Make sure you go subscribe to him. He provides nice Spellbreak, Project Sparrow, and also he'll be providing some NARAKA gameplay videos as well. So if you're interested in any of those three titles, definitely give him a check out. Now that is going to do it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video and subscribe for more content. I've been OSK, and y'all have a great day.